working.
We're still here. UBUNTU is bad.
Work through all the cultures. Try different.
Yes. Okay, so let's just get this over and done with as quickly as possible, so we can go and eat and have hot chocolate. So,
Because daiquiris are not coming.
so at the moment, the UBUNTU party was registered in South Africa in 2012, and we then contested the elections in 2014, which means I ran for president, which is quite cool. And although we ended up with 5,500 votes, we had more than 1 million followers. And I know because I've got their names and cell phone numbers on my laptop. So I'm not just making it up, I know. And that did not reflect in the polls at all, which made me realize that the entire voting system is completely and utterly rigged. It's completely rigged and corrupt. They know exactly what's going to happen before the outcome. If you travel through South Africa and you go from small community to small community, you've seen a little bit yourselves as well. You ask the people, how do you like the ANC? They hate the ANC. The people of South Africa despise the ANC. And yet, they still win 2/3 majority. How is that possible? It's not possible, and it never happens, but that's what the results reflect, because that's how they stagger the numbers. So, we can't win and beat that system on a national level. However, on a local municipal level, everything changes. And that is why I call it the Achilles heel approach to injecting the virus of consciousness into the system, into the beast, and creating one little municipality that will bring down Goliath. And that is the last thing they expect, the last thing they worry about, because they're not going to worry about some little town called Prince Albert or Watervalboven, because they're worried about Johannesburg and Cape Town and the metropolitan areas and Soweto. They don't care about the little towns, and that's where we can go and strike and change the world overnight, because that's how powerful and impactful a victory in one tiny municipality is. So how is this going to impact on the entire world? Because some people can't understand it. They can't see how this can impact on the entire world. This is what happens. So our entire campaign for the national elections was, we're going to shut down the Reserve Bank. Everything was centered around the money system for the national elections. For local elections, we can't focus on the money, because as a mayor of a town, I can't shut down the Reserve Bank. But I can control my town, and I can do what the hell I want in my town, because I'm now implementing the will of the people. And the government can jump up and down, and they can force a by-election, a new election, and I'll just win more votes, because suddenly the mayor is actually doing something for the people. So once you're in, you ain't getting out. And that's the beautiful thing about this, because no one, no mayor, no council anywhere in South Africa is actually doing anything for the people. And it's very obvious if you speak to the people on the ground. So that's where we're targeting this local election coming up in 2016. And our whole premise for this election is free electricity for all. You know already, we've been talking about the subject. We all know that there are free electricity devices out there. You've either heard of them, you may have seen some. We've heard of Nikola Tesla, we've heard of other inventors around the world that have given us free electricity and have always been shut down. Well, once you become the mayor of a small town, you can do the following. We're going to implement our own source of electricity that belongs to the people and not to Eskom. Where there's a river flowing, where there's sun shining, where there's wind blowing, or where there's a mad scientist that's developed some technology that's other than those three obvious ones, we will create our own electricity that belongs to everyone in the community. Once it's paid for, that electricity is then free. So when I say free electricity, I don't mean someone's going to give us free electricity. No, we're going to build the machines, and once we've set it up, the flow of current is free to us with a bit of maintenance. So that's why it's free. Now, everyone in our town gets free electricity, but something else needs to happen in return. It's got to be a two-way street. Everyone needs to contribute 3 hours a week towards one of the many community projects that we'll set up.
Thank you very much.
Right. Therewith begins the creation of abundance. This is so simple. But the first thing we do, so we win. Let's now assume we go out there, we campaign as well as we can, and we win one little municipality. What do we do immediately? This is what we do, and this is really from now on. This is all that matters. Because what we do into the future, we can harp on about the past and talk about the bad things and the bankers and all this and how bad it was. Well, we've got to stop doing that. We're going to start giving people the good news that there's a way out of the misery, out of the enslavement, out of the hardships. And we are the creators of our own reality, and it's up to us to create this new utopia. But it does require that we start working together, because we're so divided, we are so messed up, that, careful the glass, that, thank you.
Oh no.
Got it?
No, there goes my daiquiri.
And mine.
And mine.
I had the pina colada. Daiquiri, we ordered 2.
We ordered two, yeah, as well.
Oh.
Just 2 more to come.
Okay, well, 2 more daiquiris. You can have this one because I'm talking.
Wait.
I'll share it with her.
This one has an poison. Is this daiquiri too?
Yeah.
Someone else wanted that.
Share it with Mike.
No, you enjoy it.
I'll get
Oh,
one.
you've got brownie salad.
There you go.
I'll take this one.
Ice drink in the cold.
Sorry.
Another Amstel, please.
This is nice today.
So they don't serve
I hold it and you just have to close it.
Where's the opener, man?
Got Dean's on it.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Thanks. And 2 more decks.
He's strong.
You got some bushman skills there, mate.
Yeah, come up here and die of thirst.
Okay, so let's get the strategy out of the way so we can go and get drunk. Let's save the world and get drunk.
Free energy.
Yeah. So, you know, I have to speak from a point of reference. Like, so I use my town of Waterval-Boven as a reference point because it's a great little example of a completely. Yeah.
I spent the year there.
Yeah. So it feels like. So our town is destroyed. Okay, everything is broken. The sports fields don't work. Everything is broken down. So just a little bit of attention will make that town blossom virtually overnight. Right? So these things you can implement literally. Some things you can implement virtually overnight. Other things will take a few weeks. Other things will take a few months. But the people will feel the effects virtually immediately when you win the election. Like fixing the potholes, for example, in the roads. Simple thing. And planting grass on the sports fields. And putting a green master or a whatever, greenkeeper there on every sports field so they start actually looking after the sports fields. So our town gets about 3 million rand a month from government. And we see none of this. Now, the plan of action is that we will implement. Our manifesto mentions about 24 community projects that we will implement. The obvious things: food growing, variety of foods growing, dairy, bakery, metal factory, wood factory, fish farm, mushroom growing, building materials, etc., etc. Each community project gets allocated 50,000 rand a month to run that community project. That pays for the master craftsman or the artisan or the expert in whatever it is that that project is about, whether it's a baker or a cheesemaker or a woodworking master, a carpentry master, or a welding master or whatever. So together with a project manager that run that as a business, but it belongs to the entire community, everyone in the community. And if you allocate 50,000 rand per community project, and we start 30 community projects, that's 1.5 million rand a month. We still have 1.5 million rand left of the 3 million, and we've started 30 community projects that belong to the community. Can you see how we've been manipulated and stolen from and raped by the municipalities? It's insane. Now, I will use one of the examples. Our fish farm in our town can breed 1 million fish a month. At 10 rand a fish, that's 10 million rand a month. That's one community project. Imagine if you got 30 projects. Not all of them are going to make 10 million rand a month, but even if they make 500,000 rand a month, which they all will make at least that, you've still got at least 15, 20, 30 million a month that our town is going to make for the people, from the projects that belong to the people. Right now we got nothing. We got nothing. No work, no food, nothing gets fixed. And we utilize the money for the projects and we still got all this money left. And we have our own free electricity. So now when you got your own electricity, you got all these projects in place. Each project is managed by the master craftsman and then a few core people that are already well skilled in that specific thing. The rest of the labor force comes from the community. 3 hours a week is all it takes, people. It's that Holy Trinity number that works, that's imbued into all of our reality. You can't get away from it. And why is it only 3 hours a week? Because if you just take our town, 5,000 people, 3 hours a week, it's 15,000 hours of labor a week. Do you know how many community projects you need to put 15,000 people to work? Or to fill 15,000 hours? You need a lot of projects. So you can see immediately, things have to happen at the same time. You have to set up the projects so you have something for the people to do before you give them the electricity. So it's a very exciting time. But the other important thing we do when I become the mayor, the first thing I do.
Get a proper towel.
We'll make everyone wear the towels. Look like prisoners of war.
One thing I wanted to add, you know, what you had mentioned to me is also where you have a town like that, initially you may have to bring in the expertise.
Yes.
So you can actually outsource
Yes.
guys to come for a couple
Yes.
of months. 6
So
months.
exactly.
Train the guys up as carpenters.
Yes.
or
So if we
whatever's
need a
lacking in the
baker,
community,
if we need a baker, and we have to fly a baker from Germany or France, we'll bring a baker from Germany to France, because each community project also becomes a training center for whatever it is they do. So now our people, when they come to work for 3 hours a week, they're actually doing an internship. And what happens is that people will have all this time free, and everything we do then becomes free to you. If you do for your 3 hours a week, doesn't matter where, you get asked where to go, because obviously this is well managed by our supercomputers. Why? Because our IT geeks that we give a lab to will build us a supercomputer, so we've got the best computers in the world. And I've asked the question in Seattle when I was doing a workshop there. I asked a bunch of computer geeks from Silicon Valley. I said, how long will it take for a bunch of computer geeks to build a supercomputer? And they said, well, no time, because it's already been built. And that's the right answer. Except it hasn't been released because it'll destroy the computer industry. Well, not in Waterfallboven. In Waterfallboven, we're going to invite the computer geeks and say, what do you need from me as the mayor so you can build a supercomputer so we can sell it to the world? Guess what we're going to do in Waterfallboven? We're going to be exporting supercomputers to the whole freaking world and make trillions of dollars for our little town. And we're going to say, screw you to those that control the IT industry. So that's how simple it is. And I want you to think about this of every aspect of our lives, of our society. Stop asking permission from the authorities, because they are not your friend. The government is not your friend. The government is there to control and enslave you. We have to take back our lives from those that have enslaved us, that have turned us into drones and machines on a global scale. Doesn't matter what country you live in. And this is how we take it back, by winning the election in one tiny little town or municipality. The next thing I will do when I become mayor is put because remember, now you're the political authority. Now you speak from a position of political strength. If you put out a call to all the inventors and scientists out there that know how to create energy devices, say, come into our town, build your machine. We will help you build your machine, and give it to the whole world. We're not going to buy it from you and hide it. We're not going to try and knock you off because you're competition to the petroleum industry. We're going to petroleum industry. Yeah. We're going to help you, make you realize your dream, because inventors are crazy scientists. They're just artists in a different form. They create art in the form of technology and science and weird shit like that. So this is why it becomes so exciting. So how long do you think it'll take for the healers of the world that cure disease? Come to my town. Here's a hospital. If it's not big enough, we'll build a new one, because we're making so much bloody money that we don't know what to do with it. So this is why we need money to make this thing a reality. And when people say, "Oh, telling you you're a fake, you keep asking for money, you're talking about a world without money, why do you keep asking for money? Why don't you put your money where your mouth is and do it without money?" I go, "Are you on drugs?" The entire system has been set up so that it destroys anyone that tries to bring it down. And it always does it with money. So, we have to make so much money for our little community. I call it the FU money factor. That we can do anything we want because we've got so much money. But the beauty about it is that we don't use that money. Because remember, everything we create in our projects is for free. Everyone in our community. As long as you give your 3 hours a week, everything is free. So you live for free. Now, we come back. So you understand how we invite the geniuses, the inventors, the healers. What do you think is going to happen to our hospital once the healers arrive and start curing cancer, start regrowing limbs, which you all know can happen? It's been done in the past and it's been done now. Once we start doing this, how much money do you think our little hospital is going to make for our community? Just insane amounts of money. There'll be queues of people queuing up to have cancer treatment. What else have we achieved when we've done that? Every multi-millionaire with cancer in the world will become your fiercest protector, right? So there's this multi-level energetic stuff that happens the moment you start this. And this is why it's such an exciting thing. Then what happens next? So now remember, we're not building self-sustaining communities, and this is often people get confused. Oh, but there have been self-sustaining communities around the world for decades. And I say, yes, they have. What influence have they had on the world? None. Zero. All the current existing self-sustaining communities are just bigger versions of me, me, me. These are just us, us, us. You're not one of us. Don't climb over our walls. If you're not invited into our community, you can't live in our community. That's not what we're doing. Our community is open to everyone. It invites anyone who wants to be there, as long as you give your 3 hours a week. It's all you have to do. But something else happens. Everything you choose to do, whether you're an artist or a musician or a baker or a sculptor or a horse breeder or a guy that looks after fynbos on Table Mountain, or a guy that worries about the butterflies, or whether there's enough the bees, or the cleanliness of the water in the streams, or the acidity in the soil. Doesn't matter who you are or what you do, what you're passionate about. Everything you do will be supported by your community and the Council of Elders that manage that community. I forgot to mention the Council of Elders, which is really important.
Very
because
important.
we obviously don't have the same legal system as we have today, because that is not a human system, that is a system to uphold corporate law and corporate structure that has destroyed living, breathing human beings all over the world. So it needs to be replaced by a whole new legal system that gets rebuilt by the people for the people of each and every community. Because if you live by the ocean and you have fishermen, you'll have different needs and rules and guidelines that you'll have than people that live in the Karoo, that don't have to worry about fishing in the ocean, and so forth. So every community will have its own set of rules and guidelines. So everything we do, if you want to breed horses, for example, you'll go to the Council of Elders and say, listen, I want to start a horse breeding thing for our community, and the Council of Elders will go, fantastic idea. Everybody loves horses. We need horses, and what do you need to breed horses? Well, we need horses. Great, and it's immediately available for you, because that's what happens. If you want to set up a lab that creates the right vibe and resonance with technology to make the butterflies survive better, then that's what you do. And this is why I call it a minority-driven system, not a majority-driven system. Because there are infinitely more minorities than there are majorities. And each and every single minority is given everything it needs to be as efficient as it possibly can, no matter how small a minority is, because it provides a very important component to that community. And that's important to understand. That, and people get confused when I say that Ubuntu contributionism thing is a minority-driven system. They go, "What? You mean you're going to tell everyone else what to do?" No. It just shows you how damaged you have become by the capitalist system and the majority rule system, because that's how it works. It's just a bullying tactic, and they keep getting away with it. So the entire thing just completely shifts around, and the minorities drive and uphold the diversity of the system. Remember that only out of unity can you get infinite diversity, and this is the amazing thing. Just like, for those of you that haven't heard this, like your body, right? I think I spoke about this on the bus.
Yeah.
So, you know, your body is made up your body is made up of trillions of cells and all work together in perfect harmony. And even if they gang up together to form specialized gangs of cells, like your heart cell, or your liver cells, or your brain cells, the brain doesn't try to dominate the liver cell, they all work together. Even if they specialize themselves into a group of specialized cells. That's the beauty of it. So we can use our bodies as perfect examples of how our communities can be structured. Just because you belong to that clique over there doesn't mean you have to dominate everybody else. And you need to get all the support from the rest of the cells, as the heart does, so that the heart can continue doing what it does. If it doesn't get the support of the rest of the cells in the body, your heart will not function. So, what we're doing in essence, we're bringing our communities into complete and utter harmony with the laws of nature and the laws that define who we are as living, breathing human beings, and how we continue breathing and living as sentient beings in a strange physical world, which is now mimicking nature once again and bringing it back into our reality. So, what happens next is, we don't just grow some food. Hey, let's grow some food over there, brew. Like, no. This is very scientifically figured out. What does our community need? How many potatoes? How many millies? How much this? How much honey? And everything we do, every project we initiate, must create at least 3 times as much as what our community needs. We can create 10 times as much because we're all doing it together and we're all doing it for free. So it's very easy to grow 3 times as many millies as just for what we need for ourselves, right? It's because it's easy.
And those experts who are doing it already, like
Yes.
the Amish or whatever, we learn from them.
We learn from them. And also remember that we also have experts in Argentina, in South Africa. I know some of these people that understand how to grow food a lot quicker, a lot bigger, with no bugs eating them. It's all resonance-based technology. And you don't need a pesticide, you don't need any of the poisons that we spray on our food. And it grows bigger, better, and it's full of nutrition because it actually has the capacity to absorb the nutrients from the soil, while the Monsanto destroyed food that poisons our bodies can't do that. So everything changes. Even the food that we eat changes because of how we grow the food. But we don't just grow for ourselves, we grow at least 3 times as much. In the beginning, so that we can sell the 2/3 we don't require for ourselves, and that brings in all the money from the projects. And eventually, where all the other communities become contributionist communities, we start sharing those extra 2/3, so that everybody has enough of everything, because some parts can grow mangoes and lychees, other parts can't. And this is why every community needs to grow much more than it can consume for itself, so we can start sharing with everyone else. And obviously there'll be other systems by the IT computer geeks put into place that'll calculate all this stuff, so we don't have to worry about it. And what happens next? So, the moment we start growing this extra stuff and start selling it to our neighboring communities, we can first of all give it away for free, because we're doing it for free, but we're not going to give it away for free. We're going to sell it. But we're going to sell it so cheaply that we underprice the Macros, the Pick and Pays, the Walmarts, anyone else. So it means that the people buy our stuff before they buy stuff from Pick and Pay or Macro. Which means the moment we start this process, we are starting to destroy the capitalist model, the Chinese slave labor factories, all the imports that destroy our own country, and we start bringing things back into our own communities and and destroying the capitalist model without opposing it, without resisting it, without threatening it, just by creating a new alternative. And this is how quickly things can change. So by becoming a mayor in my own community, all I have to do is to implement this model. I don't have to go and explain it to the neighboring mayors or explain it or try and convince any other mayor. Just by virtue of the fact that I've won and I start to implement this, all the other mayors in South Africa will know that their countdown has begun. How long they have before their people will demand the same system. That's how powerful it is. That's why I say you got to get into your mind how important it is for us to win, whether it's in Austria or Germany or Brazil or USA or South Africa or Australia, wherever we have Ubuntu parties set up around the world right now. And for those of you that don't know, that's where the Ubuntu parties are already active. It's South Africa, UK, soon to be Ireland, Spain, Austria, Germany, Czech Republic, USA, Canada, Australia, did I say, and Brazil coming now soon. Brazil for me is the most exciting one because they're already, the woman that's setting it up has already got 39 municipalities and mayors that are waiting for her guidance. So I hope to speak to her tonight on Skype because I missed her last night. And that's how quickly things are happening right now. It's on a daily basis. Things are just flying. I can't even tell you how quickly things are going right now. So the next thing happens is now. So you understand the system? It's that simple, right? Now we're affecting all the neighboring communities. It spreads like a wildfire. It's an energetic quantum expansion. That's what it is. It's not just a linear or a domino effect. It is an energetic quantum expansion. It goes across borders.
Where's the
Strawberry
daiquiri?
daiquiri.
Still making it.
2 hours later.
We'll get it downstairs. We're nearly finished here. And
Still making it.
Well, maybe it's
okay, so now
Yeah.
2 more things, and then we're done here. Then you realize how powerful
No,
this
no,
is.
I'm a bit cool.
So now what happens? We're creating this abundance of food, of technology, of computers, of shoes, of healing, hospital, and all this money is coming into our community. We don't know what to do with the money, and jokingly I say, you know, I'm not sure whether we'll do it or not, but probably because it'll be fun to do. We'll just take like, you know, $100 billion, we'll pile it up on a big pile, and we'll set it on fire.
Same thing.
Just show people, we don't know what to do with it, it's taking up too much space. Like the Joker. Yeah. Really. Like in Batman, yeah. Like the Joker sets the money on fire. And but so now we get all this stuff. So what are we going to do with all this stuff that we can't eat or consume and all that? And the people outside can't buy it fast enough because they don't have enough money to buy it until they've created their own communities that do the same that we do. You know, so we're going to put it somewhere. So what we're going to do is create these Ubuntu warehouses, like a macro, but it's an Ubuntu warehouse. And we're going to put all our stuff in there. It's free to all of us because we participate with our 3 hours a week and everything, your horse breeding and your... You know, as a musician, for example, Cedric will really resonate with this. You go to the Council of Elders and you say, listen, we've got 100 talented young musicians and they've got nowhere to perform. They've got nowhere to record. And the Council of Elders will say, well, design a hall, design a studio, tell us what you need. Let's build the best music studio in the world. Let's build the best acoustically sound music venue for performance, musical performances. And so it shall be done. And we'll do it with the best possible materials. Why? Because we'll have the material scientists that we'll give the best lab to, so we don't need to use steel or toxic materials. And they'll come up with a whole new material that's probably graphene mixed with hemp, that's completely biodegradable, non-toxic, we can create at will, and is stronger than steel. And we can do what the hell we want with it, make it look any way we want. And that's just one example. There'll be thousands of others. So our material scientists will be there, our architects will be there designing it with sacred geometry so that it's acoustically sound for the musicians to perform miracles in 432 hertz rather than 440 hertz and so much more. And suddenly our town is going to do what? all the musicians in the world be coming to Watervalboven to record their albums because we got the best music studios in the world.
You need to build houses fast.
Yes. So now we got all the, and that applies to every aspect of our lives. Everything, you know, shamanic healing. Traditional medicine, traditional healers. We'll be planting traditional medicine and cultivating traditional medicine and plants. It'll be just going everywhere because the best people that know how to do it will be working with us. Doing exactly that.
One is for her.
Thank
We don't
you.
have to try and learn it. We bring those that know how to do it.
Exactly where the buildings have to be.
But your glass is nice, I must say.
So, and the other thing that will happen, for example, we'll bring in the architects and town planners and start redesigning the entire town so that we make it ergonomically and let the energy flow through the town instead of these square grid blocks that just block and destroy all the energetic flow. All this happens at the same time. So there's this explosion of creativity that happens on every level of our town.
You do the dancing.
Watervalboven will be a place you'd want to be in.
Oh yeah.
Really? Or it might be Byron Bay. Yeah. Or Graz. So the next thing that happens, so now you got this Ubuntu warehouse, and we can go there anytime to get what we want because we got an Ubuntu card, a little electronic card, because we're members of the community, and with that we can go and get whatever we've allocated to ourselves. And remember, we're very generous with allocating potatoes and mealies and everything, so we'll never run out of food because it's always going to be too much. But it prevents those that might want to abuse the system to pull up with a truck and just fill it with stuff. And there may be people that want to do that, but so we build in foolproof systems that can't happen. While we still have so much we can never finish eating what we create. Everything in there becomes available to people from the outside to come and buy at a fraction of the cost of Macro or Pick and Pay. But what else have we done? We've created a new alternative supply of goods, products and services that the bankers can't lay their hands on because we've created it. We don't owe them any money. They can't come and take it away. They can't take our building away. And we've created a new money or a currency system with an Ubuntu card, which they can't close down. They can't close your bank account. They can't keep your money. And it's not even a currency system. It's just a way of including those that participate in the sharing of everything that we create. What else have we done? We've created the opportunity that if I want to go visit my granny from Watervalboven in Hermanus, which is also an Ubuntu community, I jump on the plane in Nelspruit, which I still have to pay for the flight, because they're still operating a capitalist system. But I've got so much money, it doesn't matter. I'll just give them twice as much as they keep the change. Because I don't know what else to do rather than burn it, you know, let someone benefit from it. And I'll fly to Cape Town, I'll rent a car, or I just buy a car because I have so much money.
Ubuntu airline will come into
Soon, yes, Ubuntu helicopters might fly, but in the interim now. And I get a car and I drive to Hermanus. I pull up at the Ubuntu community and I say, hi, I'm here to visit my granny. And they say, hey, how's it, Michael? And I give them my card, they swipe the card. They say, welcome, where do you want to stay? I say, I don't know, do you want to stay by the river, the ocean, or the mountain? I say, I feel like staying on the mountain. Great, well, here are the lists of cabins that we have available. Go and find one and enjoy yourself. That's it. That's how you get into another Ubuntu community. All you do is come there with your card, you swipe it, and they say, and we need you on Thursday afternoon at 3 o'clock in the chemistry lab. Please go report there and help them out. That's it. Can you see how simple this is? You're not restricted to where you live. You can move anywhere you want, anytime you choose. And if I want to go visit my friend in Byron Bay, I want to go visit Annie, I jump on a plane, Ubuntu airline, that flies at Mach 10 to Australia, and I land on our offshore landing strip.
No taxes.
No taxes. And I come to Byron Bay, I swipe my card, say, hey, welcome, Michael. Where would you like to stay? Yeah. And that's it. You've just created a global community. It operates without money, has everything it needs, but by the time it gets to that, it's all over. It's finished. It's done. So, the other important thing that happens, now we've got our own technology, our own electricity, new materials, what's going to happen to the people that live in my town? If you have a job in a coal mine or a gold mine, you've got to work like a slave. Are you still going to go and work in the coal mine? No. Because now you are a sculptor, because that's really what you want to do. You don't want to work as a coal miner, you want to express yourself because you're a sculptor. So you'll be a sculptor of your community, you'll be getting money every month from all the money coming in, and everything is for free. So why would you want to keep your stinking job in a coal mine? What is the consequence of that? The coal mines will shut down. The gold mines and all the other mines will shut down without a shot being fired, without any protests, without any opposition or resistance. We've created a new alternative without any of that historic resistance and negative energy, by creating a new positive flow of our own visualization energy. We just eliminate the existing system that has enslaved us. That's how simple it is. And this is why you've got to understand the process that begins with one small, tiny little town. Anywhere in the world, this is the consequence of it. Shutting this entire thing down. So when I get so animated about these elections and why I put so much emphasis on how important they are, this is why. It can change within the next 4 months right here in South Africa, in the local elections, by us winning one tiny municipality. There with ends the lecture. Thank you. This year, in August.
Okay, well,
Can we all
we'll be sending you the
energize
vibes, okay?
Sorry?
We'll be sending you the vibes.
that? Come on, hands up. Come on, let's energy.
You know, there's also, this is also the answer for the tribal leaders. I'm talking to many tribal leaders and tribal chiefs in South Africa that have died. Their communities are desecrated. The government is abusing them. The people are going to the cities, being trapped as slaves in the cities. There's no way for them to come back. The moment we have our energy device, we can go to these tribal chiefs, put in a free electricity device for them, and say, this is the plan of action. And everything changes. Suddenly they liberate all their people that are trapped in the city. They can come back to the beautiful tribal lands, live in paradise, stop being slaves to the capitalist pigs.
Sorry, a technical thing. So your 3 hours is to the community, but even over and above, if you're an artisan or an artist so there's still the 3 hour commitment to the lot.
Just one. It's one commitment that you have to do.
Yeah.
But
As
in
well
your
as
spare
your
time.
own.
Okay, so hold on. This is the other question, right? So there are 168 hours in a week. You have to work 3 of those hours in a community project. That community project is allocated to you. So even if you're a baker or something, you still have to go and work 3 hours a week somewhere else. Okay. But out of those 3 hours a week,
I like
you have 165 hours left every week. What are you going to do with all that time?
And enjoy your
It's
Very nice.
that's what the amazing thing is. So you now are going to spend a lot of your time pursuing your love and passion. Whether it's shamanic work, whether it's growing traditional medicine, whether it's grooming horses, or learning children how to ride horses, teaching children how to ride horses, or healing people in the hospital, in our healing center. I'm not going to use hospital again because that comes from Knights Hospitaler, as you know, the Knights of Malta and so forth. So we're going to move away from those terminologies. So you'll have all this time on your hand to give expression to your talents, your heart, and what you were born with. And there begins the utopian life. Now whatever it is you do, if I, for example, am a painter and I start painting on my beautiful canvases that are made out of hemp, with wooden frames that were given to me by our woodworkers, with brushes that are made from real horsehair that today as a painter I can't afford, and the canvases that I can't afford today, and the paint that is natural paint made by our chemical laboratories from natural materials that is non-toxic, biodegradable, and is far more beautiful than the paint we buy today. So I get all this stuff for free because I'm an artist and they supply it to me. Now I start painting my paintings, and the people come to me, Michael, wow, they're so beautiful. Can you paint me a picture of Table Mountain? So I sure, because I'm bored. I can't keep painting for myself. I want to paint for other people. So I become the supplier, and suddenly people come to, Michael, can you teach us to paint? So suddenly I become the teacher and the master painter for the community. And they all come to me every day to learn how to paint. So by default, whatever you do will eventually become a community project. Can you see that?
Yeah, definitely.
No matter what it is you choose to do, whether you make glasses from freaking beer bottles will become a community project. Recycling, everything will eventually become a community project. It's exactly, yes.
And you have the youth.
No matter what, choose the weirdest thing you can think of. It will become a community project, whether you like
the
it or
youth.
not.
The most important thing I think is that you also have the youth doing apprenticeships, and you then have mentorship, which is really a big gap we have now.
Okay, let's get
the
on
main
with
thing
the
is that people will be able to spend more time